think about that. Think about my attorney, Alex Spira, one of the top trial attorneys in the country. Imagine him going inside saying that the only way Mayor Adams is going to assist in immigration, which I was calling for since 2022, right, is if you drop the charges. That's quid pro quo. That's a crime. It took her 3 weeks to report in front of her a criminal action. Right. Come on, this is silly.
Welcome back to Sunday Night in America. DOJ dismissed corruption charges against New York Mayor Eric Adams, interim U.S. Attorney Danielle Sassoon, and other prosecutors resigned in protest. Charges are dismissed for many reasons, ranging from cooperation to evidentiary failures to simply prosecutorial discretion. So why were charges brought in the first place against Adams, and why were they dropped? Good news for the mayor, but not so much for New York Governor Kathy Hochul. She got a reminder that she is not the president. She doesn't set immigration, border, or deportation policy. She doesn't get to insulate gang members and criminals while exposing law-abiding citizens.
This is a new DOJ, and we are taking steps to protect Americans. New York has chosen to prioritize illegal aliens over American citizens. It stops today. As you know, we sued Illinois, and New York didn't listen. So now you're next.
So I'm going to be very clear in case the governor is watching. Federal law preempts state law. The left has embraced this weird kind of constitutional law, one that allows states to set policy in uniquely federal areas while allowing the feds to run policy that was left to the states, which is sort of opposite of what was intended. Joining us is former federal prosecutor Katie Cherkasky. Welcome, Counselor. Interim U.S. Attorney Danielle Sassoon and others resigned after being told to drop charges against New York Mayor Eric Adams. Do we know why the charges were dropped?
Well, that's a very good question, but the reality is, as you mentioned, that prosecutors do retain discretion over the cases that are brought. And when this administration came into office, they made it very clear that they were going to look into cases that were potentially brought under a weaponized Justice Department. And Mayor Adams' case, obviously, is one of those specific cases. And in this particular instance, I think that the Justice Department is being very diligent and vigilant in how they're dealing with this. They're dismissing the case without prejudice, meaning that they can, in fact, refile it after they look more closely at the evidence. And certainly, I think that's a very reasonable path to take. And the hysterical resignations in protest to this seem a little bit overkill from what everybody knew was going to happen and what really should happen to ensure that the weaponization is rooted out of that department.
Now, I suppose the DA, Alvin Bragg, if he wanted to, he could indict Eric Adams on state corruption charges, could he not?
Well, he absolutely could potentially indict. I think that that would be difficult depending on how much of the investigation would have to be repeated. I doubt that he would get much cooperation from the feds in terms of their investigative materials. Perhaps they already have access to some of that. But it would be an uphill battle, I believe, for him to do so. But certainly it's theoretically possible.
All right, Katie, lawyers spend their careers trying to understand the other side, which is why we don't get invited to many cocktail parties. Try as I can, I do not understand this infatuation with harboring criminals at the expense of law-abiding people. I mean, you're a really good lawyer. Help me understand Kathy Hochul and others who really are heck-bent on protecting gang members and other criminals at the expense of law-abiding citizens in these blue jurisdictions.
Well, I agree with you. I find it very perplexing. It's been overly complicated. The idea that you can't be in this country unlawfully has always been the law. Whether it was enforced or not, you know, times have changed. It's still illegal, and certainly it's important to actually enforce our laws and look at the situation we're in, and that's the point that this administration is making. So the hysterical moral high ground that they're claiming does not make much sense to me either, and I don't think it carries much weight.
All right, everyone at DOJ except Pam Bondi has a boss. You used to be there, I used to be there. Where is the line between falling in line and resigning because you can't in good conscience do what you're being asked to do? If I resigned every time one of my bosses told me I was wrong, I would not have lasted very long, Katie. So where is the line between doing what you're told I mean, I know the Southern District, which renamed itself, thinks it's an entity unto itself, but it's really not. It's under DOJ. So where's that line between conscience and just doing what you're supposed to do?
Well, that's a very good question. Of course, unless you're being told to do something that's actually unlawful or unethical under your state bar licensure, then of course you have to follow the orders of your superiors. There's been a big confusion, I think, about who's in charge of the Justice Department. The president's in charge of the Justice Department, and of course his attorney general is the head of that department. And so unless there's something actually unlawful or unethical being required of you, then that is the order from the top. And I was also in the military, and in the military justice system, the same rules apply there. So certainly I think, again, the protest resignations do not suggest that there was anything improper being required of them. And certainly I think that it was appropriate for Emile Beauvais and the Justice Department to suggest that they were going to look very closely into this prosecution, which can be brought back if warranted, before they do proceed with that.
Right. You make a great point. Jeff Fortenberry's case was dropped with prejudice. This was dropped without prejudice. It can be brought back. Katie Cherkasky, thank you for joining us on a Sunday night.
Thank you.